a Democrat machine. I am not partisan here. It is a machine of the elite that want to protect a very corrupt system of lobbyists buying Congress and no concern for the little people of America. And I am frightened that eventually it will blow up. I am.
You notice how
I don't want that.
You notice how they never do anything wrong, and it seems that they're so concerned with praising each other that they never get to the facts of what is going on. They're just so busy praising one another. Like when I just saw those congressional hearings on Waco, I have tried to watch them all the way through. I can't. I get so upset with what I'm seeing and how Congress is reacting to this whole thing.
Why weren't you there?
I was never asked. I was not allowed. You know, why wasn't? Hey, I could understand where a lot of people in America, without knowing, would call me a cultist or would say that I am an uncredible source. But Dick DeGuerin and Jack Zimmerman, you know, these incredible attorneys who were inside, who saw the evidence of the bullet holes fired through the ceiling, I just
Do I have you back?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Caller wants to know, were you ever shot at while you were inside the compound?
No, I was not.
Okay.
Well, other than the first day, you know, I mean, we were shot at all over the place. No, after the siege began, as far as I know, there were no more bullets shot into the building. Other than after I left the building, I don't know what happened there. Of course, there's a lot of speculation of what happened in the back of the building. We know the day before that there was a media blackout at the back of Mount Carmel, and the tanks, of course, went in and destroyed the gym area. The 9 survivors that got out of that building came out from the front and the side where the cameras from 2 miles away could see us, okay? There was a number of people in the cafeteria area. I know for a fact there was. Derek Levelart told me that there was. There's a number of people back there. None of them made it out somehow. No one came out of the back side of the building. I just have to say, why is that? Why? Just one more, if I could just add.
Sure.
Jimmy Riddle's body. Now, Derek had told some people that Jimmy Riddle was outside in the back when the fire had begun, and he saw him. He went back into the building. Jimmy Riddle apparently was outside. Jimmy Riddle, his body was found later after the place burned to the ground. He had a bullet wound to his head, and he was found inside the building 5 feet away from David Koresh's body. The interesting thing about Riddle's body is that Koresh's body was burned beyond recognition. They had to go to dental records to find out who David Koresh was to identify his body. However, Jimmy Riddle, 5 feet away in a massive fire, they could identify him by fingerprints. Not only that, but if we read the evidence list, they have his clothing listed and the color of his clothes listed in the evidence list.
Which means he wasn't in the fire.
It means that he was not burnt at all. Maybe an angel came over his body and he was not burnt while Koresh was. It doesn't make much sense to me.
Most likely they carried him in afterwards.
We have videotapes of the tank pushing things back into the building as it's burning, as it's still smoldering.
Well, what you've got, in my opinion, is murder. We'll be back with more. David Tibodeau is in Las Vegas, Nevada, and your microphone is back on. David, you and I both believe this was murder. Is that right?
Yeah. I believe that it was definitely premeditated. As far as the fire is concerned, I mean, hey, if we just look at the facts, they have said from day one that the people inside started that fire. But if we look at the facts, you see the aerial footage of Mount Carmel, and there's a fire break all around the building. You know, when they go in with tanks and make 5 by 8 foot holes in a building, you know, any fire marshal will tell you that that is just a fire waiting to happen. It's a ventilation system.
Right.
It's all set up. It's pre-thought out. And then, hey, the CS gas, the stuff has a very low flash point.
Well,
in fact, we just found 3 ferret round cartridges out there recently with liquid CS gas still in them, and it was checked out, and that chemical compound of that particular CS gas that was used, they say, is very volatile and has a low flash point.
Well, again, they used as propellants, I understand, both acetone and alcohol. There is nothing more flammable than acetone. Acetone and alcohol, I mean, you know, it's worse than gasoline. So everybody knows that knows anything about fire that is a prescription for death. Okay, let's get some more callers on the line here, and let's go to Kansas City, Missouri. Andrew, are you there?
I am.
Go ahead.
I just would like Mr. Tibodeau to know that some people were trying to help. I'm the pastor of the Church of Scientology in Kansas City. I was called out to Los Angeles in early March in 1993 to stand by while negotiations were were entered into with both the FBI, the Marshal's Office, and the ATF to take myself and 2 other Christian ministers down there to negotiate a talk-out settlement. We were, it took 2 weeks to get a final no on it. They would not allow us to go.
Yeah. A lot of people were trying to get into help.
Why was that? Why would they let you go?
They just refused. No.
Why?
No.
Why?
There was no reason given.
It might have worked, maybe.
Okay, yeah. David Tibodeau, is that your belief? It might have worked?
Yeah, I believe a lot of things would have worked. I mean, David Koresh, in a letter addressed to his attorney of April 14th, asked for 2 theologians to speak with him about the SEALs, Phil Arnold and Jim Tabor. He wanted this televised. He at least wanted to speak with these people because they understood where he was coming from.
Well, I believe that Janet Reno and the BATF and the FBI wanted to keep you people as demons, not as martyrs.
Oh, absolutely.
And they were in total control of the situation. This was the kind of thing that Goebbels, during the Nazi regime, would have done, and this, in my opinion, was exactly what they did. Missouri, Kevin, hello.
Hi, Chuck. Glad I could get on the air.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry what happened in Waco and the massacre there. I'd like to tell you about a story that happened the 13th of this month in Missouri, Chesterfield, Missouri, as a matter of fact. ATF broke in a lady's apartment at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they said she had a gun. They shot her 4 times in the chest. And well, that's the end of the story that we've heard here in St. Louis. And
where did this happen?
Chesterfield, Missouri. They said they were looking for drugs. They didn't find anything, of course.
Did they have a warrant?
They had a warrant.
What they were doing? What were they doing at 4 in the morning?
That's what I'd like to know. Why couldn't they have just waited for her to come out and seized her then and then searched her apartment? I mean,
and they went in and killed her.
Well, I don't know if she's dead. The last I heard, she was in critical condition in the hospital. I don't know if she's dead or what happened to her.
We got a country gone nuts, people.
They've cut off the news on it. They aired the story the day it happened, and that was it.
How can these agents live with themselves? I don't understand how we can attack people like that and just shoot them down and they can go on. Isn't it amazing that the ATF is still in existence? They were worried about not getting funding. We believe that's one of the reasons they did the raid, and they're stronger than ever.
The thing is, they're not a law enforcement agent to begin with.
True.
And what are they doing, slinging guns and killing people?
Well, the bottom line is, in my humble opinion, this is all part of a bigger plan to get us. Now, Bill and Hillary, with their crime bill, they are going to get a federalization of the local police. The local police, ladies and gentlemen, you better talk to your local police, because when Hillbilly get this crime bill through, you better go read it, people. They're going to wind up being able to control your local police. You will lose the right to control your local police the way you do today. They will be slowly but surely federalized, and whether they like it or not, and they don't, they will become part of some kind of a federal troop movement of police, and they will become literally stormtroopers. And I'm very, very frightened that this could be a very, very, very scary situation. In Oregon,